Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. After a long and arduous game of Counter-Strike between FaZe Clan and Virtus Pro, which I think Virtus Pro pulled out. I think they pulled away, rather. I think it was neck and neck towards the end of each map. At least, not necessarily in the beginning, but they definitely pulled away in that map of Mirage. Anyway, that is all over now. The dust has settled on that, and we move to a new game. G2 versus Mousesports is what is coming up today. G2, I think they're actually getting better.
They are.
Yeah. I think that we've seen so many shuffles in French Counter-Strike that there may have been a lack of faith, at least as far as these super teams have been concerned. But a super team, if you were to pick one, would be Vitality. But G2, they've been moving forward, and that's a good sign.
It's funny because there's like no such thing as a French super team anymore, right? Because originally you did have those incredible French players for the French, and it's such a dominant scene. It was like the French scene and the Swedish scene were perhaps individually like some of the best Counter-Strike players we had, because you had NIP and Fnatic in their eras where they were super strong, and obviously so many great players from France. But those super team projects have been failing for so long. So now it's like no one cares anymore. It's just about what we can do. What can you actually do? Screw name value.
Yeah.
What can you actually do on the server?
I think the bar was set too high.
I think so as well. And it's cool now because not only do we have these amazing old names, and as you say, like they've been working, they've been trying to rediscover themselves. It's been working, but we also have, in the rest of the world, so many awesome up and coming teams which serve as great examples as ways to do it. And so G2. I think you guys are right. I think there's a lot of potential for them moving forward. So I'm quite excited. The only thing that I still have gripes with is I just don't want to see Shox as the IGL. I just don't want to see that myself.
Let's have a look at the veto, shall we, if it's ready, and see where these teams, where the battlegrounds are. What are the battlegrounds for this?
I want to see a nuke. Let me see a nuke played. There got to be a nuke.
For the Battle of the Bastards. Well, Train will be the first map. Another Vitigo. Anyway, that's almost like a skin condition. Train and Dust 2 will be the first two maps. G2. I think both G2 and Vitality are not shy for some Dust 2.
Ops and ups all day.
Yeah, not too shabby. Oh, hold on.
Wait.
Hold on.
We were duped.
Maybe we were lied to. We were defrauded.
Dust 2 was banned.
Oh, my days. We got fat fingers in production
Wait, that was
today.
picked. Oh,
okay.
I'm confused.
They're like, hold on, guys. Hold my beer. Drink some more beer from another can. So just tell me what the vetoes are, damn it. This is a mess. Train, Dust 2, and Nuke. There we go.
I like that.
So never mind. Just remove this whole nonsense. Like, you guys need to start again with this. Let's just delete all of that. So Train, Dust 2, and Nuke will be the three maps. Still not seeing the Vertigo in the online best of threes.
Well,
I mean, there are some mixed opinions on it. Elige has been very vocal, which is good to see. He thinks the A site needs an entire rework because it's Battle of the Smoke Grenades.
It's terrible.
It's hard.
It's just terrible, man. It's terrible. Do we even need to go into it?
Oh, I don't think we want to go into it too much right now because it's not part of this veto. But we need to have a look at we need to make our predictions, guys. We need to make our predictions for this. I think it's still early for Mousesports. The brand Mousesports, I love. Chris J is Mousesports. He is the blood of Mousesports. He's the life of Mousesports. So the fact he was almost benched kind of sucked, but here he is.
Not the first time as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with a bold G2 pick. Just because I think that Mousesports need more time. I think Carrigan said that some of the new players on the roster haven't proven themselves just yet. But I just think it's too early for them. So while I do think that both teams can win, for me, it's G2.
Mousesports for me, easy.
Any reason, or just is that it?
Well, it's just they have a lot of very young and talented players, a lot of explosiveness. I think it's a team that's difficult to prepare for. I think Carrigan's got the team running fairly well at this point in time. I feel like across the board the team has a higher skill ceiling. For me, both teams are fairly unknown insofar as how their map pools will look, and also stylistically, this clash, I don't know how the styles match up, and this is a super interesting match because of that for me.
I think both teams are really good. As you said, Mousesports has work to do. I think G2's on up and up. They kind of dropped the ball against Optic a couple weeks back. But I think the maps are a little better for Mousesports. I'm going to go with Mousesports in this one. I think Train and Nuke should be their maps. I think they could really pull some heads. And I mean, I can't count out G2. I think they're still really good. It could go any one game, but Mousesports.
Sligwell, where do you stand on this one?
Mousesports for me.
Okay, so
Easy.
I'm alone with this one with the G2.
It's like
I
you
think
weren't here.
I just for me, yeah, I think I just need to see more of Mousesports. But I want to see some growth from them. I want to see the identity of this new Mousesports. So many changes. I wouldn't say I know what their identity is just yet. So I want to kind of know that before I start picking them for best of 3 series, and we can find out what the odds are. The user predictions. We've got a big contingent favouring Mousesports. I think it's a solid contingent of mostly France backing G2. In the statistics, and then we can soon see what Pinnacle themselves are saying.
I think that's a little much. I thought it'd be like 60-40.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels close to me. I do think that would suggest that only one team can win. I think either team can win, but you can see that Mousesports are slightly favoured here by Pinnacle at the moment. We'll see how that changes if the panic button is pressed in the offices. I feel like each week is just a bigger and bigger panic button ready to be pressed, especially when they've got these like massive odds. So that will be very interesting to see. But it seems that Mousesports are generally the favourite. They're the people's favourite. They're the Pinnacle favourite. All the P's, all the favourites of Mousesports. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the series. I want to see more and more of Mousesports. They're a brand I'm fond of. Kind of miss Oscar. He was very inspirational with some of the ridiculous plays we would see from him, especially online. But I think the identity can still be intact. You've got Rops with the Gucci slippers. He's still there.
The crazy thing with the last Mousesports lineup is, I think there's a universe where if they just skip, 3 or 4 events, because they were the team that went to the most events by far, I feel like maybe they could have like soared to greater heights with that team, because they killed the project because eventually they were like, we feel like we can't go do more than this. As a lineup,
We're a top 3 team.
I was gonna say they were doing fantastically well, but they felt like there was a cap there because they weren't putting them, they weren't like Liquid, right? Where I mean that's actually a weird one as well. Liquid were literally the second best team in the world, and it's pretty. I don't think there's anyone really super close to them. But I digress. But I think with this Mousesports, I hope that they've learned some of those lessons. But the problem is the players are not as experienced. Overall, so I feel like that could take them some time, but I think that they have learned their lessons with regards to taking more breaks.
Yeah, I think it was hard to get a proper in-game leader into the previous roster, like we have Carrigan with this one. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I would agree that they were probably oversubscribed to events. Like you need, if all your strats are going to run dry if you're going to an event every single week for one. But you need time to evolve, to review. Which, if you're always on the road, it's hard to do that in a hotel room. So it's not easy.
So you know how fast my sense is, James?
Your sense is basically double my sense.
Yeah, Roxix is 3 times faster than mine.
3 times faster than yours?
Yeah, last time I checked.
That is absolutely bananas. I'd love to just watch him actually use his mouse.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shox has charged up the IV position. He's carrying the bomb. I think he's alone in this position as well. He's been spotted, and there's a double peek for the CTs, and that's a big problem. Kenny S is alive for a second and then soon dead. Couldn't do much. I think he was 1 versus 4 or 3, around there. But either way, it's a good start for Mousesports. They win the pistol on their CT side.
And you look at a team like Mousesports, on paper they actually look like a really good CT-sided team. You got Chris, Jay, and Woxic who both can scout and ult. So it makes CT sides a lot more dynamic where you can have a random ult anywhere on the map because, I mean, they both can ult, they can both push, be aggressive, pass, whatever the case may be.
Do it.
You want to take the shot.
Oh, that nade will do. That will do nicely.
Ooh.
Yeah, I feel if Mousesports can show me T sides that are sort of on the way to looking like the end style T sides, the good basics, where they would get the maximum out of the skilled players, I feel like I could make a prediction to say that Mousesports are going to go super deep next major, like super deep.
I just hope so. There is a glaring, I guess, flaw in Kerrigan's playstyle calling. He tends to kind of fall back onto pick kind of strats where you kind of spread out, you want to go for slow picks, which can be good, but if it's not working, you have to be able to adjust. And I think that's the weakness of Kerrigan, is adjusting at the high tense pressure moments. Like when you need to win, you need to adjust. He's kind of lacking in that, so hopefully with Mousesports, with this new lineup, he'll be able to surpass those expectations.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I hope that there's evolution in that sense. And again, especially given some clear examples, like, everyone looks to Astralis, but I think, obviously, one of the things that Charlotte are good at dealing with is teams with like really good individuals. It's more about the team play. If you want to beat them, it's going to be about team play, timings, coordination. Obviously, ENCE showed that, so I hope more people start dissecting ENCE's T-sides because they have incredibly good T-sides, but they're not that complicated. The complexity lies in how they tie and layer in so many basics together and make them seamless in how it flows. That's where the complication is. So either way, back into this one. G2 on the T side. Speaking of T sides, of course, that get their AK buy-in. And what is the pace that they want to set off the bat? Well, Almanac already down Pop Dog, so it's a passive setup from Mousesports. Still with the Scout and an MP9, so trying to play this kind of the bonus round style. Oh, all right. Well, Almanac gets himself a freebie, but they did not have any idea someone was down Pop Dog.
That's so weird.
Well, Chris J's just learned something about Train.
This guy's going to be ladder room.
Mousesports defending a clean sheet early here on Train. Have Shocks creeping up Ivy once more. Carrigan will have to focus on him. Woxican connector with the Scout. Rop still spotting towards the B bomb site. Seems there's a lot of intention to make a play into there with Shocks flanking. So we have Pop Dog abandoned while the glass is smashed to offer an execution towards A. So far so good because Woxic's making his way there. Now Shocks looking towards Ivy. Does that mean a B play? Does that mean an A split? Which one is it? Start to see some grenades towards that B bomb site. Now the rotation is coming back. Rops gets one, makes it a 3 versus 3, makes it even. Woxic goes through the smoke, gets annihilated by Kenny S, and that will be the call to save for Mousesports.
That looks like a really close situation where Mousesports could have gone for a retake, but yeah, it's interesting. They'll save 2 guns, but they didn't. As you can see, this kind of works out with their money. There's 3 players right now have 3K and over, and it's 2 players that actually replace their weapons, their SMGs. So this actually does work out. Frozen upgrades to an AK-47. So ultimately, it's not the worst thing in the world. However, the one issue is that Mousesports will be getting $1,400 for this round, and I think that will mean that they cannot purchase an AWP. Yeah, I don't think anyone will have enough money for that. Oh no, actually Robs has just about, but I don't think he's going to buy the AWP because then he won't have the ability to buy Kevlar. So then he would have to be the one playing the AWP. So that's not going to happen. So we'll just get the 5 rifles, and there it is.
I like what G2 did that last round, tossing all those flashes over middle. It actually set up Almanac to kind of run down ladder kind of safely, because if Mousesports wanted to attack ladder, they'd have to dodge all those flashes, looking in the wall, that kind of thing. That kind of exposes you in the long run. But I think Mousesports going to adjust a little bit better this round. Not get easily picked off by ladder.
So G2 setting up a split already, but they're not going for the classic Ivy team main. They're going for a Pop Dog split. Or is this just a fake? Oh, I actually want to go into the B bomb site, make it look like it's an A play. This is actually pretty awesome. You almost never see this. Doesn't work out though. Rob's for the full spray, and he gets 1 kill and some damage onto Jax. And they do have the B bomb site. They've got Almanac lurking backlines, old bomb, and someone from CT. There it is. There it is. Shocks. What a weird situation to deal with, but it is a 3 versus 3. Kenny S will have a Molotov bounce off of his head. What an absolutely bizarre round. What a bizarre round.
That was a throwback strat.
Yeah, that is. You don't see the Ivy B split every day.
That was the other thing that they're mentioning about worst strats ever. That was one of them. Ivy to B split.
So long.
Yeah.
Such a long journey. It's a pilgrimage, basically. It should be called a pilgrimage play. Mousesports, after some short-lived success, they find themselves on pistols. Rops has got himself a Desert Eagle, 3 P250s for Mousesports, and then Chris J with the USP. Chris J was a revelation on the T side of Train for Mousesports once he was no longer the primary sniper. It was so amazing to watch him with a rifle doing outstanding stuff. It was a really good time. I've seen a few snipers show how dynamic they can be with a rifle. JW. Some of the more interesting plays we've seen from JW. I remember on Dust 2 Long as a CT and Mirage as a T on A ramp, he would drop a HE to kick up some dust and then spray behind it. So I think on Mirage he sprayed a sniper angle from behind a HE smoke, which he dropped himself, and landed a headshot on the guy there, which I have a great clip of. Never see anybody else making plays like that, but yeah, Chris J again, another sniper to rifler who's shown himself to be very versatile and capable, although we may be asking too much on this occasion, because he is alone of a USP versus 5 players of AK-47s. Oh, that's... you may need to see a next doctor about that. Some fusion required.
Sound should be louder. That's a hard crunch. Falling from that distance.
There's a common surgery for wrestlers who have spine issues where they get some kind of fusion thing, but it often ends in retirement shortly afterwards.
I think Hulk Hogan had that.
I don't know about Hulk Hogan. I know
And he lost like 3 to 4 inches on his height.
Ooh, wow, that's
2. It's like 2 or 3 because they said it like pees your back and it makes it all.
That's crazy. Enough about that. We've got G2 now in the lead. No AWPs on the server in this particular round. We'll see what Woxit could do with an AUG. Silenced USP, silenced M4, excuse me, for Carrigan. Weren't very popular in the previous match. The Nitro.
So making their way up Ivy. Amonek with shocks. And this is the T main and Ivy split. So the fact that they worked that Ivy, that the IVB split that you never ever see ever, that is kind of cool that they're going for another two-man play here, because maybe they can make it look like it's going to be one of those, but instead it's a regular play into the A site, which is being dismantled here. Frozen in Pop Dog. That position was never dealt with. It's a problem. Amonek is in trouble. So they're trying to block off these choke points, but he's alone now, and the bomb is not in his hands. And Mousesports look pretty good here for this one, and Amonek is going to have to fall all the way back to the back lines, perhaps. Maybe not. No one's looking like they're interested in peeking him. It's the first one. Ooh, dink, dink.
I missed the brutality of the old ladder sound. It almost sounded like somebody hitting a metal door with a hammer. It was so loud, clunky, and just abusive to one's ears.
Should be.
It's like a Stockholm syndrome.
It is nice how, like in the original, like CS, you know, it had like the Half-Life ladder sound, and how distinct and characteristic it was. I do agree that it's nice having like very distinct sounds.
You sound man?
Yes.
And yes. Get an exchange on Woxit who re-peek middle. Luckily, be able to get out towards E-Box, and Chris Shay's gonna take out Jax.
Oh boy, big problems here for G2. Mousesports looking comfortable once again. Amonek creeping on the wrong end of a smoke. And Frozen will punish him for daring to enter the train yard. Mousesports in the lead once more. Can they stabilize this time? They may have an opportunity because the money for G2 sucks. Kenyes with 6,400. Does he maybe have a hero AK or something? They haven't really bought much. Maybe they just keep the extra money for a rainy day. It was slightly rainy this morning in Santa Monica, but it seems to have cleared up a little bit now. Hasn't been the most amazing weather here this particular season, but there's still time for it to clear up. Carragher looking to clear up the IV position. He knows at least one more player is there. He'll drop the smoke with a HE behind it. 2 deagles ringing out from this position. So this is fairly comfortable for Mousesports. They know only 2 other players are roaming around somebody's choke points. There is a shadow for Frozen. He didn't seem to react to it immediately, which is interesting. Again, if your shadow settings are low, then you won't see shadows which are further away. So I always wonder when I see things like that. If you're at home, make sure your shadow settings are maximum. I think I made a video on the B bump site of train from a T perspective, looking down into the entrance to show you what difference the shadow settings could make.
I watched that video.
Yeah.
And it convinced me.
Yeah, I'm glad.
So you convinced me.
I'm glad I sold it to you.
Well, time for G2 now that they've started to find themselves in a spot of bother. Mousesports back in action, and with the AWP onto Woxic now, the dynamic could change completely because, as mentioned previously, we weren't really seeing any AWPs for pretty much anyone. And with a server that has Woxic and Kenny S on it, we expect to see a lot
Lots
of AWP.
ops. Should be
A lot of AWPs, yeah. And G2, I mean, they have some funky stuff. It is really interesting when you show that strat, the B split with 2 players coming from Ivy. Again, it's very unconventional, and so G2 have shown 2 players on Ivy in a variety of rounds now, perhaps trying to suggest that Mousesports need more players to defend that position, that they could run fakes where it looks like it's an A split, but actually the Ivy players are just part of a B split. Maybe that's the idea behind it. It is quite elaborate though.
It's mind games.
It's so we'll see how that develops.
Shox makes his way in towards A. He smokes it down with good timing. Woxic goes towards the B bomb site, and he's got support from Rops. Not sure if that was spotted in that engagement, but Shox is clearing out the A sites in the meantime. Bomb rotating away from B, and only 2 players, shell-shocked players of Mousesports, rotating towards A from B. But will they really go for this? The money is not amazing. With 7,100, Chris J could drop, but their loss bonus is minimal. And that's going to be the end of that.
I like it. I like the fast pace there. So Shox is someone I don't get to cast as much and watch as much these days as I used to. And I have to say, one of the most exciting things for me whenever we used to be watching Shox is when it's like maybe it's like Dust 2 on the B bomb side and Shox is on T side with an AK playing post plant against like 2 or 3 players by himself. And all he has to work with is 1 crate. And those moments for me are so intense because Shox has this way of jiggling and taking his decisions and is taking his time in spots which are so intense, and you always know that he's gonna do massive damage. It's just so exciting to watch. He's one of those players that has this very special quality to him that when you look at his perspective, you know it's Shox. You can remove the name, you just know that that's Shox.
Shox is due to get married soon, I believe, in the coming months.
Oh really?
Yeah, best wishes to him.
Did not know that. That's interesting. That's pretty cool.
Family man Shox.
Yeah, he's very passionate, and maybe like Guardian, that will help his performances. I remember
Did it help his performance?
After Guardian got married, he started playing a lot better.
Wait a minute. He played really bad at first. He was actually really bad.
Oh, okay.
Like the honeymoon period, he was actually really bad. And
Fake
then,
news from Dan. He's not quite Al Jazeera, is he?
then he started doing really well. After that, like a couple months after that, then he started doing really well again. So maybe it took a little break.
Maybe it's completely unrelated.
Maybe it had nothing to do with it. Yeah. Glad we had that journey, Dan. Everyone is alive still in this round at the minute 20 mark. A few engagements, some aggression towards Ivy, which didn't quite work out, but wasn't a catastrophe. Because, again, everybody is intact. So, risks taken by Mousesports. And that may slow down the overall timing for G2. It may cost more utility for both sides. You can see Molotovs in the pop dog position, not taken this time by G2. Molotovs and smokes.
Kenny S gives up the AWP to Shox. Interesting. You're going to switch back now. Oh, no. He's giving the bomb. All right.
To Shox,
Stylistically.
interestingly, who has the AWP. Generally speaking, you do not want the bomb to be on the AWP player. First Jay getting the leg. Lucky to be alive. Will he go for a repeat on the green train? Yes, he will. Amaneka's going to take him down and push forwards, and now the pressure's on for the CTs.
15 seconds for the team with the man advantage to plant the bomb on the A bomb site. And it looks good. They've got great control. Carrigan pressing Q. Never got around the corner anyway. Armanek was there to trade. Woxic with a very clean haircut for Jax. 2 versus 3 for Mousesports as they continue to move forward. Smoke up around Pop Dog to create some space to maybe help with the trade frag situation should it be required. But Mousesports feel like their current situation is a dangerous one, a brittle one, a high risk, low percentage situation. So they'll be forced back, forced to save. If they could take this AWP into the next round, then who knows what could happen. Could be spawn dependent, but it will be G2 tying the score and breaking the money and the backs of Mousesports.
Just a slow Ivy strat from G2. Chris J, I just got to get caught off guard. And from there on out, just dominoes. G2 just, as you said earlier, Dan, just really working that Ivy consistently. Their agenda, their game plan, conditioning the CTs to always have multiple people Ivy. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like an inside take or maybe even a fast outside when Mousesports starts to stack towards Ivy.
We have seen that they've been quite fast at going for those plays, have the smokes in the right place to get out into the yard. G2 have had really good movement so far around the map. So
That is a very nice grenade.
So Woxic is the man that needs to somehow find the value in this round for Mousesports with the AWP. But he is towards Ivy at the moment. I'm not sure if he's going to find too much. Oh, there we go. So there's number one. And for reference, again, the last time I checked, I think Woxic's, it takes him like 10 centimeters for a 360, James. 10 centimeters.
That's crazy.
Well, it is insane, isn't it?
I know some people, if they wanted to take a precision shot, they would like drag a finger along the mouse pad with the mouse, for example. But how on earth do you do like a 45-degree turn with a sense that high? That is crazy.
All finger movements.
I used to play in a sensitivity of like 50 back in the day.
Yeah.
That was a noob.
Well, I used to play on a mahogany effect table, like a cheap table, with no mouse pad.
Ooh.
So I went to LAN, and obviously I couldn't do anything because it was completely different. So I just immediately wrecked myself.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, by a mouse pad. 25 seconds remaining. Woxic, has he got the angle? He almost does, if only he peeked earlier. There was time for recovery, though. He does not know that there is a player above him. Does he see a shadow? Oh, he spotted the information. Armanek trying to escape. He tracks him. Look at that track. That was beautiful. Just couldn't see him because of the train falling back because he knows that another player is alive. Kenny's creeping somewhere. Scoped in already. Now he's unscoped. Rops around the stop sign. Very fast shot from Kenny S, leaving Woxic 1 versus 2. He doesn't have a kit, so what is his mission here? Is there one on the site? He's at risk of losing his AWP, but he may take everybody with him. He's a man on a suicide mission. That was beautiful, but again, he's got no kit. He'll touch the bomb anyway. Try to sweep up any items he can.
No!
And he's going to die. He turned around. He could have just spent that running away. Turning around does nothing in this game.
Does nothing.
You have to just be away. You need to move into the other circle. It's like reverse PUBG.
Bad habits are hard to break. Nice shots by Woxic, but it'd be better if you saved the up in this situation. Look at that, a half second right there.
Yeah, considering what he did up to that point with the AWP, I mean, he can buy it again, but, you know, when both teams have got no money, I don't know who's... Their team has a little more, so maybe try to hold on to it. Anyway, here we are. Fast play from Rops towards speed bomb side. 1-2. That's absolutely disgusting. Man like Rops has shut down this round very quickly indeed.
It's like 3 kills instantly with a rifle. That's so crazy. Oh man, what is the response from that? You're just
Why
done.
are you? Who are you?
Exactly. All the questions. A 2 versus 5 on T side of train is perhaps the most hopeless place to find yourself, and it could even get more hopeless. Frozen could even pull a knife out.
Knife.
Do it.
Just knife him. Yeah, he's doing it.
Oh.
Woxic ruined it, but well, it seems like no foul, no harm. No harm, no foul, whatever. However it goes, because Woxic picks up the AWP, everyone survives. This is so fast.
He didn't even flash them. They were not even remotely flashed.
That's like one of those spots as well where he finds that perfect timing because he gets so far, the peak goes so far that the players behind the first guy are, Robs is obscure to them, and all Robs has to do is just keep spraying. So it's kind of ends up being so perfect there.
Robs is one of the
Speaking
pillars.
of perfect, wasn't perfect. Carrigan gets 2 for the price of 1. Carrigan on the AWP. I would like to see Carrigan return to former glory with his AWP usage. I feel like it was the TSM days where he would be the top fragger in grand finals, mainly with the AWP on maps like Mirage. And obviously that was a very long time ago, but I would like to see a resurgence from him. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, aggressive Dust 2 opping on T side on Dust.
What?
Aggressive opping on T side Dust 2 was one of his things as well back then. And in 1.6, he was known to be a very, very strong sniper. So, but yeah, you got Woxic and Chris on your team, so I don't think we'll ever see him with an AWP.
He's literally holding an AWP right now. That's why we're talking about this.
That's pretty awesome.
Can I suggest some coffee?
Dude,
you were saying you were avoiding caffeine. Maybe you should have some caffeine.
Yeah, I am feeling quite... It's traveling for more than 20 hours. I think, well, so are you, but...
Ha ha! We're never going to see Carrigan with an AWP. Definitely holding an AWP.
I'm going to pull out the jet lag card.
You kind of see that.
Oh, this push is not bad, is it? This is so much information. They've got to know there's a B play now. There's already 2 players on B.
Dude HE Robs. Dude HE over the top. Too late now, of course, but the one down the bottom might just be good enough. Jack's taking chunks. He's one of Kevlar, but now he is the one that gets fragged first. A cleanup operation, anti-plant strategy from Mousesports. Here comes a flank, but maybe there's a chance. Lucky picks up an AK-47. Shox is somewhere as well. Lucky continues. Shox around the A bomb site, but Lucky's the one with the bomb. However, all of Mousesports now going for the long rotations through CT, so perhaps there is a chance if he moves quickly.
And this is where things get really exciting when you're watching G2 in these like 2v3s where, you know, Shox just has a deagle, Lucky slightly out of position for the plant. They've got to find a way to get a kill here, and they're going to have to rush against the time as well. Everything is against them, and Carrigan makes it even worse. Now down to Shox with the deagle as he goes for the peek, and Carrigan does not give him a chance. And that's 8-2-6 for
Look at that,
Mousesports.
two frags with an AWP from Carrigan.
Nice.
Dan never saw it coming.
Yeah. So quick thing that's worth to mention, as we saw Rops doing a great defense on the B-bomb site. I definitely recommend, if you're a fan of Rops, or in general if you want to learn about anchoring bomb sites, watch a bunch of Rops demos, because he has really good decision making and how he takes angles, the timings, how he uses nades. Just he's one of the smartest players in the game. So check his demos out if you want to learn how to be a better CT side anchor.
Chris J is in his forward spot. Shox is going to sneak out in the middle, but Chris J is going to sneak up right inside and shoot him right in the back of the head. Jack's going to try and get information.
Fighting around those trains out like towards, you know, the around Olafmeister, there's like little, like around Sandwich, I should say, that like those battles against the CTs is always so awkward. When you're kind of like shooting like the side of the train, not knowing how much damage you're doing. You're trying to shoot them in the feet. I hate those fights so much. And G2 down in a 4 versus 5. Looks like they may just try to go for a set piece on the A side. But first, Kinius is looking for a pick with the boost. He just have missed his timing. Okay. This is backfired. It's all backfired. Do they even go for this now? Gonna force the issue. No choice. Last rounds. Now down to Lucky.
Indeed they do. The counter-terrorists win. The last round of the first half, it goes to Mousesports. They have a 3-round lead at half-time. Can they extend it once the side swap? Find out after the break. Hello, my name is James Bardolph and I'm here to take you through the Counter-Strike's global offensive experience, sometimes while holding a flamethrower. Shox makes his way in and he's going to take one out. I thought he may have just got to... Oh! Ooh, Kenny, give me no time to talk, baby. 4 versus 3. All the CTs are now on the A-bomb site as they look to throw more darts at the Mousesports side. And the darts are landing. Eric Bristow playing for G2. Only 2 kills there for Mousesports. Armanek and Lucky will get the cheap helmet upgrade, $350. That's always nice to see. Look at this. That was... He made it look so easy. He made it look fluid. Like water in a glass.
Was it easy for James?
In a jug, in a carafe. I'm a big fan of jugs, especially when they're full of sangria.
I love a good carafe. Picked one up from a thrift store recently.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. It's
My
beautiful.
name's Dan. I've recently purchased a carafe.
From a fancy thrift store. Oh, bye. See ya. Shox. Oh no, everyone's getting mauled, slaughtered, massacred, decimated, eviscerated, demolished, eliminated.
Oh, okay. I thought Carrigan was hacking for a second there.
He's top dragon. Hey!
Okay, it's over. That was a lot of fun. We used a lot of words.
There's a cool clip that Dan had on Mirage with a scout, where there was a guy behind triple or something, firing at someone, and he did a 180 swipe, no scope, and shot the guy straight in the head.
Through the box.
And it wasn't like a 180 and an aim. It was just a swipe 180 in one full motion.
I think there's an aimbot built in the game. It's just like that random wow factor. Every once in a while, just throw it out there. Just do a wide swing, jumping, clicking, and you'll hit a headshot. It happened to me so many times.
That's why all my greatest moments are with a knife. It's pure.
It's personal. It's up close.
My favorite one is the 4-1 deeks now of my Mirage clips. Oh, that's missed its mark.
That's a good name.
Kenny, yes. Oh dear. Oh dear! He's not looking the right way! Scope was obscuring his vision, and now Mousesports are in the back lines, much like G2 were, and it's easy for Carrigan. Let's go. Carrigan on the AWP every day, every round, all the time.
Your tune has changed, Dan. From never on the AWP to always on the AWP.
Yeah,
although it is a bizarre situation with Woxic and Chris J just eyeing his monitor. And there we go. There is the final deletion around the A-bomb site. Mousesports with Carrigan charging through with an AWP. But what's interesting is that I think you can have a different stylistic approach. Like when we saw Shox with the AWP rather than Kenny on a previous T round. For certain types of plays, maybe one player favors it more or is more comfortable in a particular situation, because after Carrigan's outrageous plays, leading by example here on Train, he has now thrown the AWP to Woxic.
So I think this team has so much core potential if they develop some strong T sides. One of the interesting things about that previous round is that the timings on that coordination of that push were quite weird. It's like listening to a song with like offbeat drums or something like that. It works and it sounds good, but it's unconventional.
Tool.
And yeah.
Tool.
Or Meshuggah.
Or what?
Meshuggah. Do you know Meshuggah?
Sounds like some kind of African celebration when you ching beers together. Meshuggah, Meshuggah.
What the hell, man? Okay, well, I'll play some Meshuggah for you later, and then you'll completely understand. But yeah, it was a very interesting rounds with the timings, but because they got Carrigan, and I forget who it was with Carrigan, all the way to Old Bomb before basically anybody else has peaked from Pop Dog or T Main. Normally, the purpose of that of how you push those positions is it's simultaneous pressure, so you guarantee frags of crossfires and make it really uncomfortable for the CTs. But hey, it worked out, and here they are against the Deagle of Shox and Kenny S on a USP. And soon, surely it should be all over. I wish you could move like more on the ladders again. I hate that they took that movement mechanic away.
It's a little too ridiculous sometimes.
What do I get back in return?
I know you have to give and take here.
If they take that away, they got to give me something. Like fixed pot sounds. That's not really going to cut it. Oh, hello. Okay, that wasn't a headshot, but it does the damage, but so does that. Kenny, yes. Well, if no one checks this, there is a world Oh, Carrigan, what the hell? No!
What are you
no!
doing?
Don't let this happen! The knives come out! That's not supposed to happen!
Oh my goodness. Getting up on Kerrigan.
Oh,
No more rifling for you.
Carrigan absolutely sprays him through the smoke and wins that round sometimes. Oh, what is this? What is that?
That is a unusual situation.
What have we just witnessed?
Check your corners.
Check your corners.
This is the rush. This is the rush. I love this rush by Mousesports. Now watch. Frozen's going to try to get to the bomb train. Oh, they changed it up. There we go. There we go.
Look how fluid it is. Look how fluid it is. But there's only one frag. Ding dong from Jackson. They're holding on to this bomb site for the time being, it seems. Although I say that, we've got Mousesports standing on the bomb site itself. Literally, Chris J looking over the smokes. Now it's time to plant 3 versus 3. G2 holding their own. We've got a flank from Shox round the back with the AWP, but we've got a player in his hand, which is Armanek. Does he peek? Does he have a look? There's a head. Looks for a trade frag. We've got Woxic by the main position. Who's faster? They both kind of don't hit the mark. Woxic still moving around. He's in the red. We've got a player by CT now. Who peeks first? Big flashbang, looks away. How is he still alive? He's missed a shot. And there is Shox to finish off the job. 2 AWPs, well, a second AWP collected by G2. And they are just 2 rounds behind now. That was absolute madness.
That's one of my favorite outside takes right now in the game. And the reason why I like it so well, because a lot of times people will take towards Hell if you have that first spawn, but Mousesports changes up just a little bit where they toss a smoke towards the Ivy, and so instead of going to Hell, the guy from Sandwich goes straight to bomb train after a bunch of flashes and Molotovs towards the bomb train. So it's really nice. I had to go back and watch some maps on Mousesports on train. You'll see that strat many times.
That's my favorite role to play on this map as well, being the guy that swings out a sandwich onto the bomb train. But there's a couple of interesting notes there. One was it was Frozen, wasn't it? It was that player. So it seemed like he overcommitted his spray through the smoke to a degree which left him very open to other possibilities. So that's something I think something to note in the future. But also, what I found was interesting, was a really cool move on the fly was when Chris J was around connector and there was like a 1 CT in there. I think Rops was next to Chris J as well. Chris J tried faked the plant in the spot which you can spray through the smoke from connector, and I'm pretty certain that was the purpose, is to try to bait out some spray from the guy that's in connector. And so that can be interesting sometimes, just to fake the plants if you see if you can draw some fire through smokes. By the way, Woxic is the VIP here, and he's going to be moving forward, seeing if he can get a pick, which he should very well be able to get, I would imagine, if he's looking in the right place here. Towards Ivy, and there it is. And now there's problems. AWP is out by E-Box on the outer bomb site with loads of pistols. I would be scared if I was GT right now.
Frozen's making his way to collect that weapon. Armanek is by the Ivy position, but the bomb will not be stopped. He'll get Carrigan just after he plants the bomb. This makes things a lot more difficult for G2. 3 versus 4 as Armanek is taken out by Frozen, who has now picked up an AUG. 2 AWP retake versus 4 players. This is beyond awkward. Frozen, does he walk into the angle? Not quite yet. Nothing doing for Shox. So many places to peek, a double peek, a trade, but Shox is delivering. They've both got kits. Kenny's picked up an M4. He knows one is E-Box. Trying to bait out. That's beautiful from Shox. Where's the last player? There's Frozen. Is there time to kill and defuse? He's holding it. He's going for the hero defuse. Frozen! It's going to be a close one!
Oh
Just
my
about.
goodness.
Second go, and he'll stop the defuse by maybe half a second, maybe even less.
I think much less. I think it's like 0.1 or something. That was super close.
And Mousesports with the hero by Woxic. Just buy an AWP. Why not? Everyone else has pistols on your team. And it works out. He gets 2 huge picks.
Shox is so nuts. How close? Did we get a replay of how close this was?
It was really close.
Oh, can we see? Can we see? Can we see?
So
just as he started firing, it was 0.7, and it took him quite like at least 5-6 bullets to get there.
I reckon 4.3. Not 4.3, I reckon 4.3.
Well, I assume that we'll never have a confirmation, James. I don't. The guess is, whilst appreciated.
That's why I'm guessing.
We'll
That's the whole point.
Carrigan, he's just walked out Ivy. What is this? He's found his way a free position around Hell now, as Kenny will do some damage, but I mean, the problem is that the T's are out. That said, Kenny's doing quite some work. So make 2 pickoffs, like you're trying to harass from the bomb train. And we come to somewhat of a standstill as Mousesports try to slowly edge their way forwards and clean out these forward positions. Armanek will try to reinforce Kenny, but Kenny's just got his scouts. But it's Train, and it's Kenny. Oh, the quick scope not landing. The bomb will be collected in the 1 versus 2 for Armanek. Is there a gun? That was bloody close, but not close enough. Mousesports 13.
They're starting to pull away.
Yes.
$2,000 per person for G2 for the most part.
0.3 seconds for Shocks
What?
for the defuse. When he was sticking the defuse, he had 0.3 seconds.
Oh, okay. Full sentence. That could have just been a guess, or I don't know. We got there in the end. So I was right.
You said 0.4.
No, I said 0.3. I said for 0.3 for some reason. But I meant to just say 0.3. That's why I said not 4.
It's not a measuring contest.
I kind of said 4.3, but I meant to say 0.3.
Oh.
Ooh, Super Mario Brothers around the showers and stairs. And Mousesports have enough information to plant a bomb on the A bomb site. What did G2 choose to do? They've got an AK on Kenny S. I think they want to save that. Not much more they can expect to get out of this one. Woxic is hunting. Keeping himself warm. Carrigan, 21 kills at the moment. He is leading by example. We did speak about, well, I did speak about TSM, AWP, top fragging, and he's basically been doing all of that in this game so far. So fantastic.
And it goes back to what Eric was saying before as well. In a game of Counter-Strike, it used to be the case that your decision-making didn't quite matter as much as it does these days, because mechanical ability, like individual skill, you know, that really carried you through in many spots. And it's just because, like these days, the general level of knowledge of how to play positions, timings, tactics is just at a much higher level. And so now it's much more important to just put yourself in the right spot. Because if you have all the mechanics, but you don't know where the right timings, or what the right spot even looks like, then it's just useless.
Yeah.
And you can be a guy that's like Carrigan's not as good as Nico individually, but if Carrigan's in all the right spots, he's still going to have an enormous impact. So.
Good point.
Control of Ivy will be the side of things for G2. That is beautiful. Carrigan thinking he could walk in for free, but no, he was denied, and Shocks will be taken out by an angry Woxic. 4 versus 4. Jack's close to main. Going for the wider peaks. Normally a CT would just stand in the corner. He has ventured in here and been punished for it in prior rounds, but he's got a lot of sound cues. He hears at least 2 players rotating. You can see Kenny and Armanek making their way into the B bomb site. They've got so much information. We've got a T by default already. Kenny trying to reposition, and that could be the end of that. 3 versus 2. There is a chance for G2, but you feel like it should have been better based on the information they had. Woxic just cannot be defeated. Taking out Lucky as Woxic wants to rotate. Woxic's looking for an ace, and he's looking the right way as well, although Jax is unlikely to come down the stairs, but Woxic seems to have all the information. He's in the matrix. There was so much opportunity in that round on that rotation for G2, and it was all denied. How long does Woxic stand there for? He's got, I mean, he has to move away because of his health, but he's convinced. And he will be denied the ace. Jax now peeking more, but I feel like that was pointless because he kind of needs the money playing against game points. So maybe time to run away.
That was such a wild inside take by Mousesports. Woxic, pretty much, they take lower without throwing any nades or anything at first. So that caught Kenny S completely off guard. You rotate inside, you expect a smoke lower, maybe a flash over the wall or something. The Woxic just hops right down, no cares in the world, balls to the wall, and he gets the kill. That's something that's the surprise effect that you need. You know, you can't just always throw smoke lower ramp. You can't always throw a flash here or there. You got to change it up. Be wild.
You cannot telegraph your intentions. As crazy as it may sometimes look, I think we may have reached the end of the line. We spoke about Chris J's aggression out of A main. There was an example of it as we maybe reach the last round of game number 1. Frozen makes it worse. Carrigan can't make it any better for Mousesports just yet. Gets taken out by Kenny S. So perhaps there is a chance. He's on a long rotation. 3 versus 2.
I mean, I could maybe get a flank in here. Is there anyone on the sidewalk? Wait, nope. Well, with that kill, I don't know that Kenny can really do anything, but he has to move in. He has no choice.
He has no kit.
He's got to go faster than this. Got to go fast, and he'll go straight into Frozen. 16-9, very well played by Mousesports. We really saw them come alive here, and they showed us some cool stuff, some cool strats. Got to see Eric's favorite outside play, outside rush. And ultimately, it did seem like a skill thing at the end as well. Just more players going off here for G2, for Mousesports than G2. I felt like G2 on the T side, they played well. I felt like they put themselves in good positions. They were able to gain position outside, and they were able to make their set pieces, put their players in position in that way. But it just didn't really work out.
Yeah, G2 did play kind of well. I think Mousesports is just really good on this map. I think out of all the maps I've seen, this is their most complete map, CT and T side. They have slow strats on T side. They have fast. They got set pieces with smokes. They got different variations of inside takes on their T side. And I mean, if Mousesports get on this level on the other maps, this team is going to be really hard to beat. It's just unfortunate that G2 maybe they didn't do their homework, maybe they thought they had a chance in Train, but I was going to play Mousesports. I'm banning Train as the first map I'm banning against them.
It's a good point, especially with the kinds of players they have, like Robs. I mentioned it on the inner bomb site. He was always devastating there. That's like they have some on the CT side. Some of their anchors are like very, very good. Quite an affinity for this map, so it's a good point for sure.
Very good first map in this series, and what are these teams fighting for? They're fighting for a place at LAN. Tickets are available for the ECS finals. ECS.faceit.com is where you can pick them up. Get down there. It's always a crazy atmosphere in London with the English lot and the international contingent. You've always got the Astralis fans there with the electric signs, among other people from other areas. After the break, it will be map 2 of this series, so don't go too far away. We will be back very shortly indeed. See you soon.